pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. Most of you have heard the emergency exit descriptions. Make note of where they are in case of an emergency so that you can safely exit the building. This is a smoke-free campus, no smoking anywhere in the buildings or anywhere else on campus of any campus within the district. Next, we have board consent agenda for, let's see. Board consent, anything here? Yes, most minutes, the treasurer's report, claims report. Well, we can do this. Yes. Okay, we have 4 items for board consent agenda. Minutes of the October 16 meeting, minutes October 30th, the treasurer's report for September, and the claims audit report for October. Yeah, I see. Well, I'll get that in a minute. I'm using yours. Okay. Thank you. Okay. So, is there a motion to approve or to consent to items 1 through 4? That's I see 1 through 4. I saw Jack Nix's and second by Claude Parker. Any discussion? All in favor? Okay, it's approved.
Okay.
Next, we have communications and announcements. And I think you've got a faculty commendation.
Yes, I do. Thank you. We'd like to begin with recognition of one of South Country's talented teachers, Miss Victoria Suarez. And I am going to introduce Dr. Raymond to introduce Ms. Suarez and tell us a little bit about her.
Yes, absolutely. Well, good evening, President Hayes, Vice President Nix, trustees, staff, community members. Thank you for joining us tonight. I am privileged to introduce Mrs. Suarez, and I would love for you to join me, Mrs. Suarez. Mrs. Suarez was recently recognized by the New York State English Council as a 2019 Educator of Excellence. This is an award that is bestowed on educators for their leadership both inside and outside of the classroom. Mrs. Suarez readily seeks out opportunities, not just for her own benefit, but that of her colleagues, and always with a focus on student learning. She's participated in numerous committees throughout our district. She's also attended and presented workshops and found ways to celebrate the great work of our students as well as all of our staff members. She's highly reflective, and she's driven to extend the learning of all that she comes into contact with. We at Brookhaven are proud of her achievements, and we're humbled to work with Mrs. Suarez each and every day. Thank you. Thank you.
Well, don't go anywhere because we have something as we work our way.
I'll sign you. Yeah, it's up.
And I'm going to come over here. Shot.
Yeah.
She doesn't like the spot.
I'm getting that feeling.
Thank you. Okay.
There we go. You can.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
And congratulations again. We're very proud to have you with us.
Thank you.
And moving on for my report, last week, President Hayes, Mr. Santo, and I had the pleasure of attending Belport High School's Center of Excellence induction ceremony. It was a very nice ceremony. President Hayes was a guest speaker, actually, and shared some very nice words of wisdom to some 20 new members. And as usual, guests dined on dishes prepared by our own culinary program students. On Tuesday of last week, faculty and staff gathered at Belport High School for our first Pride Cup event of the school year, which was volleyball. Pride Cup events are friendly competitions that build morale between faculty and staff in our buildings and happen throughout the school year. Belport High School took first place honors, with Belport Middle School a close second. Next event will be Jeopardy on January 16th. That is all I have for reporting, President Hayes.
Okay, opportunity of trustees to make reports, any meetings you've been to or things you want to let us know about? Mr. Trent.
Just one thing, I'd like to again wish Dr. Johnny happy birthday.
Maybe I'll start at the other end of the table. Is that all right? Okay. Mr. Parker, Mr. Nix.
Mr. Parker?
Yeah, no, he said no. You're next.
Sure. I think I reported on this last time, but I was able to go to Kramer Street Elementary and read to 9 different classrooms, which was, it's always a thrill to go back to the Kramer Kingdom. But I just wanted to give a special shout out to Mrs. Stevenson's class, who sent me these beautiful and very heartwarming thank you letters. I appreciate the one who says, "Thank you for reading to us. Please provide us free snacks." So I'll work on that. Nathan, I'll work on that for next time. But that's all I have.
Mr. Santo, do you have any?
You want to maybe skip over me for a minute?
Skip, okay, how about Carly, you go and then I'll go?
Please stand by for technical difficulties.
I have a few things to say. I just wanted to mention that Safe Halloween was a success at the high school. I think we had one of the biggest turnouts we've had so far, so that was exciting to see all the kids come out dressed in costumes. They were very excited to trick-or-treat throughout the classrooms and play all the fun games that the clubs had, and it was also the most clubs we've ever had signed up to participate, so that was nice. The annual food drive run by Student Council is in full swing. We have already received a number of donations from community members, and we had a lot of donations from Safe Halloween. We put it out on the flyers, and a lot of the students' families brought it with them. Stuco will be meeting next week to stuff the boxes that we donate to families in need for Thanksgiving, but we're hoping to get a few more donations in before Thanksgiving break. I also wanted to mention that my virtual enterprise class is, although it's on a smaller scale, we're also doing something for families in need during this season. So I met with my teacher, Mr. Cameron, and we discussed a way that we could contribute even though we're just a small class. So we decided on adopting a family for Thanksgiving. So everyone's going to bring in some cans of food and items that we could donate to a family for Thanksgiving. And we have like a turkey that someone's bringing, and I'm gonna drop it off at the Hot Bug location for Long Island Cares. So I thought it was just a nice way that we could all show a little holiday spirit. So that's all I have for today.
Very nice.
Thank you. I'll go while you get back
I think
online.
I'm good now.
Oh, okay. Your turn.
Thank you, President Hayes. Well, as Dr. Gianni mentioned, it was a real pleasure to be able to attend the Center of Excellence induction. Not only do we have about 20 students who are willing to put the effort into to be part of that club and be of service to people, I did want to give a special shout out to our culinary program, which did cater, and as always, they outdid themselves. They do a wonderful job. Wanted to make people aware, a reminder about the South Haven preschool. They will be having a PTA meeting on Monday, November 25th, and at that meeting, we're hopeful to actually become an official PTA that evening. Bylaws committee has already been chosen and the nominating committee, And so we're hopeful that there'll be enough attendance and enough people, due pay members, available to create a PTA chapter at South Haven. So, and the high school play was phenomenal as always. And if you haven't already heard, the musical this year will be Beauty and the Beast. So please take a look. That is coming up in February. And I'm sure that our students will not disappoint. So looking forward to seeing that. Thank you.
I'll just repeat two of the things you said, because I also had the pleasure of going to the high school play. Thoroughly enjoyed it, and if we can get the word out to get more people in, there were seats available, so that means a lot of people missed out on what I had the benefit of. And also the Center of Excellence, and one thing we learned, I believe this is the second year that they've had it, the students who were inducted last year, I recall 12, but I may be off a little bit on the number. Of the 12, a number, all of them, except for one, were attending college. The one who's not attending is in a trade program. So they've all gone to something after high school that they wanted to do. And they also made an announcement of how of the students that were in college, any number of them had gotten accepted to multiple schools, so they had a choice of where to go. So that was really gratifying to listen to, and we look forward to seeing what this group will do. At the last meeting, I didn't mention one other thing I did, which was to catch the tail end of the art show that's out here in the hall. So if you haven't had a chance to look at the art gallery out there of our students, go look at it. It's from the younger ones all the way through high school. We've got a lot of talent, and greatly appreciate their teacher for doing that. And finally, this is Dr. Raymond's school. The PTA there has set up a food pantry, and they had a ribbon cutting a week or so ago that Dr. Gianni went to, and I was there. And they've got a lot of dry food in the storage area with plans to expand it, and this is something that the PTA is doing. So we thank them for that. It brought to mind what Carly had said about the food pantry, and then also your food collection at Thanksgiving. So I think, Dr. Raymond, you said you had 20 families who'd signed up to take advantage of the food pantry. So, you know, there may be other opportunities for sharing food. And not just at the holidays. The holidays, it's a great thing to do, but doing it on a regular basis would be great too. So, wanted to thank them for that. Okay. Next is the guide to the board. Guide to the. We don't have any cards, no comments. All right. Items for discussion.
Yes, our first item for discussion this evening is our independent auditor's report for the school year ending June 30th, 2019. With us this evening to present their findings is Mr. Mike Leone of Cullen and Danowski, who is our external auditing firm. Mr. Leone.
Thank you, Dr. Gianni. As Dr. Gianni mentioned, my name is Mike Leone. I'm a principal with Cullen and Danowski. I've been with the firm almost 10 years now. Myself and Jill Sanders, who's the engagement partner, primarily responsible for the audit. What I'm going to do tonight, we had a detailed meeting with the audit committee back in October. We went through the financial statements. Tonight I'm going to briefly go over them with you. But before I do that, I did want to extend a bit of gratitude to the board and management for hiring us. We take great pride in servicing the district, and we're very appreciative of the opportunity. I would also like to thank Dr. Gerges and his entire department. Conducting an annual audit is an involved process. There's a number of weeks that are involved, resources that are needed. We received full cooperation, and I think we were actually able to complete the audit in very good time this year, so that's great. So moving on to the audited financial statements. We're going to talk about the June 30th, 2019 financial statements. Some things to note that are very important. The financial statements are the responsibility of management. We, as the external auditors, are required to conduct the audit in accordance with generally accepted auditing standards, as well as government auditing standards. Those standards require us to obtain reasonable assurance that the financial statements are free of material misstatement. If they were not free of material misstatement, we would have to indicate that within the report. We've issued what is known as an unmodified opinion. That means that there's reasonable assurance that the financial statements do not have any errors in them. In addition, since the district is subject to government auditing standards, that means they have to comply with certain laws, regulations. In the event that they didn't comply with those laws and regulations, because we do a series of tests, we would have to report to you whether or not there's any significant deficiencies or material weaknesses. We're happy to report that there were none. Moving on to the financial results for the district, we primarily focus on the general fund. There are other funds that we look at. We look at the school lunch fund, the capital projects funds. What we report on, we really cover the general fund. The general fund finished the year with a little bit of a loss. It was about $600,000, but that's primarily because the district was able to fund $2.3 million of capital reserve money that was approved back in 2016. The district approved up to $10 million to be spent, no cost to the taxpayers, with excess funds that can be used for improvement of projects throughout the district. So if you carve that out, the district had about $1.6 million in excess funds in the general fund. In addition to that, they funded $250,000 to a new reserve this year called the Teachers Retirement Reserve. This is the first year that they were eligible to do that. Previously, it was the Employee Retirement Reserve that you were able to fund. Now you're able to fund the Teachers Retirement Reserve, so they funded about $250,000 for that reserve. With respect to other reserves, the district's in pretty good shape. They have very reasonable reserves, so financially, I feel the district is strong. With respect to internal controls at the district, when we conduct our audit, and we may review certain internal controls. We don't give an opinion because we're not engaged to do an internal control audit, but we issue what is known as a management letter. So there were some comments on the management letter. Most of them related to prior years. Management has corrective actions plans that are in place to resolve those matters, and they're working hard on that, and I believe that Sam has put together his corrective action plan. In addition to that, the district finished the year with about $5.4 million in unassigned fund balance. That is 4% of next year's $134 million budget, which is in compliance with state laws, so that's perfect. Again, another indicator of strength of the district. The other things that we do need to complete are we do conduct what is known as a single audit for the district. That's because the district does receive federal funds in excess of $750,000. So we work with the district and we normally complete that. That's due 9 months after the year, and we normally complete that in March for the district. So that is still another area that we do need to complete. Other than that, I think that kind of covers the report. I don't know if there's any questions that you may have. But I'm here to answer.
Does anybody have any questions for the auditor? Seeing none?
Thank you, Ms. Iolani.
Thank you.
That was,
Thank you very much.
Rather
Again,
kind.
thank you for the opportunity. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, next we have board consent agenda on curriculum. It's items G,
So administration recommends approval of curriculum items reflected in schedules G1 through G3.
Okay, is there a motion to consent to items G1 through G3? Mr. Nix, and second, Mr. Trent. Any discussion on these? Seeing none, all in favor of consenting? It's all approved. Thank you.
And moving to personnel, I'm going to take this in some pieces, so please bear with me. And I will start with the administration recommending with approval of personnel changes reflected in schedules H1 through H6 and H8 through H10.
H8,
Through 10.
there we go. H1 through 6, and H8, 1 through 10. Okay. All right. Is there a motion to consent to items H1 through H6 and H8, items 1 through 10?
No,
No.
8 through 10.
8 through,
8 through 10.
H8 through 10.
H8 through 10, yes.
8 through 10, okay. So, that's H1 through 6 and H8 through 10. Is anybody going to make the motion? Mr. Nix, second by Mr. Parker. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? It's unanimous.
And administration recommends approval of personnel changes reflected in H7, 1 through 4, and 7, 6 through 92.
Okay. Is there a motion to approve item H7, items 1 through 4, and items 6 through 92? Ms. Aruda, second, Mr. Trent. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? It's unanimously approved.
And the administration recommends approval of personnel changes reflected in Schedule H7, 5.
The next one would be approval of item H7, number 5. Mr. Trent has made the motion. Is there a second? Ms. Aruda, any discussion? All in favor? I saw 4 hands. Any not in favor? 2. So 4 to 2, that one is approved.
And moving to business, administration recommends approval of business items reflected in schedules I1 through I11.
Okay, is there a motion to approve items I1 through I11? A motion by Mr. Nix, a second. Ms. Aruda, any discussion? All in favor? Okay, it's approved. All right. Public commentary, do we have any, or none at all? Okay. I think, wow. Closing remarks, we'll start
Nothing for me, just wanted to wish Dr. Gianni a happy birthday.
Why, thank you. I'm 41.
I'll ditto that.
Ditto, okay?
We made it a short meeting for you, so you
Oh.
can enjoy your evening.
No. Okay.
A couple of thank yous we have tonight. Thank you to Jim Vaughn and BFW Post 8300 for their donation of 432 mini flags for student use at Burn W. Crits. Thank you to Miss Erica De La Rosa for her donation of $250 to the culinary program at the high school. Thank you to Life Touch for their donation of $1,000 to Belfort High School Scholarship Fund. Thank you to Donors Choose and those individuals making donations in support of a classroom project at Frank P. Long Intermediate School in Mrs. Claben, Miss Negri, and Miss McNaughton's classes. And thank you to South Country Education Foundation for their added donation to their previously accepted school year grants, awarding $3,588.18 for programs at Kramer Street and Burn W. Crits. And also congratulations to Ms. Suarez for her recognition tonight.
All right. I think you've summed it up, and again, for the short meeting, perhaps you've got a better way to spend the rest of your
Santa
birthday than. Oh,
Well,
one
I-
more,
Are we supposed
one
to
more
make a
thing.
personnel announcement?
Oh, Dana, right? I'm sorry. Yeah, I can only make the one. Sure, thank you. So, earlier this evening, the board approved, and I don't know, is Dana? Thank you. I will announce a special education teacher appointed at Frank P. Long in Brookhaven, Miss Dana Mandry. So, congratulations, Dana.
And Dr. Raymond can let her know that
You
we
can
all
let her-
express gratitude that she'll be with us. Okay,
Great.
that's it. Happy birthday.
Why, thank you.
And we're now adjourned.
I wish
No,
I
you're
would've
gonna take a
known
motion.
it
You're gonna take a
earlier.
motion
I
in.
would've made a plan.